What's up, fight fans? We're coming at you with another episode of Beefy Boys Breakdown. There was a big pay-per-view last night, and we're going to be here to talk about it. Your boy's feeling a little rough, went a little hard last night, but we're going to truck through it for you guys. Hopefully this Powerade does the trick. As always, my partner Harris is going to be joining me any moment now, and we'll get started on these early prelims because we're the only podcast that breaks down every single fight. From the early prelims to the main event, we're your fucking guys. Let's go. Let's ride. I look like shit. It's because I feel like shit. Let's ride. But yeah, man, it's as always. Listen, we're the only podcast out there breaking down the early prelims all the way to the main event. And we're going over UFC 277, Nunez versus Pena 2 last night. There was two straps up for grab. And man, honestly, like the prospects levels on these early prelims were fucking fire. Like there's
Yeah,
guys on these prelims that I think are going to end up being factors. I mean, it may be 18 months from now, 36 months from now. I think eventually these guys are going to be top guys. I guess without further ado, took a pretty nice little pounding at the sports books last night. We had one parlay hit. Thankfully, it wasn't all for naught. But
yeah, thank God. Got half that money back. Ugh.
yeah, man, it was a tough one. As always, picked plenty of fights right, just grouped them together wrong on the parlays. You know what I mean? It's so brutal when that
Grouping was
happens,
so
but
tough. Grouping was so
it's
tough, man.
because that's the real gamble of it. Like I
I
feel like we
swear it
have a.
is.
I mean, obviously, like we go into it knowing we're not going to bat 1,000, right? Like we know we're not going to pick every fight, right? But we also feel confident in plenty of picks and pick plenty of them right every week. I think we go, I don't think there's a week yet where we've been under 50% in our picks. And it's just as always, just that's where I think it really becomes gambling is like, there's no way of telling like how to pair these. Like you can have inside knowledge on like who's going to win and how they're going to win. But as far as, how to group your parlays, that part really does seem like a crapshoot. If you're an experienced sports bettor and have any advice to make it less of a crapshoot, I'm all ears because it feels like I'm pissing in the wind here.
I mean, I think it has so much to do with just like, I mean, if we bet every fight straight and we just had to pick the winner of every fight, I think
We
we
would
would
do
do that
great.
great. But it's just like it's not worth it to bet 10, 20, even $50 on just straights all the way.
Yeah, and I mean, if we had deep pockets, I mean, I'm sure we could turn a profit every week. But I'm saying it's just we're trying to come up here. We're trying to come up. But
Yeah, exactly right.
yeah,
Maybe
man. But
maybe we're looking at it wrong. Maybe we're looking at it wrong.
maybe we're having fun. Maybe that's what it is. But
Yeah, that's what
but
we'll
yeah,
call
man.
it.
Yeah, man. So we got Ryan Kosi here, minus 200 against Mike Blood Diamond, plus 170. I think they're finally starting to like inch away from the Blood Diamond, like because I still on the website all week they had him listed as Mike Diamond, like on UFC.com.
Oh,
And
really?
but then so I was like, oh, I wonder if they're like moving away from the whole Blood Diamond because we talked about on last week's podcast how like certain guys they just like let ride with these nicknames like Chaos Williams and Blood Diamond, and they act like it's their real name, Hannah Goldie, and it's like this weird,
Like,
like
why
in
do some people
between.
get it and some people don't too? Right? Like,
Yeah,
why wasn't Johnny on J-Check John a champion? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like it seems like a weird kind of pick and choose type of thing, and it's never really the big fighters that get it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the prelim fighters, which makes even less sense. But I say all that to say I was pretty stoked to find out Blood Diamond's real name. I thought it was going to be something more
Mike.
exotic than Mike,
Me too,
but
bro. I swear that was
but
the biggest letdown. I was like, wait, is his name Mike?
like Orion Coast, like Orion's a sick name. That's
Orion
but
is a sick name. Did you notice his corner called him Ryan the whole time?
yeah, that extra syllable, in the heat of battle.
Yeah, I
Get you.
mean that's kind of where I'm at. Is like, I'm not. If I was cornering you and your name was Orion, I'd just call you Ryan. I just honestly I
Yeah,
would. Like, I'll just tell you straight up.
but yeah, I mean, so this fight's taking place in the welterweight division. We both picked Kosi. I know it wasn't one of your favorite picks, but I think you ended up coming around to to join your boy on that one. I think we just viewed it coming in that Blood Diamond really is a kickboxer. Like, he's not really a mixed martial artist. You know, he's
And
pretty one-dimensional. Kosie's a great wrestler.
great
We've seen
wrestler,
how the
kind of one dimensional, but has a good chin.
yes, for sure. And so yeah, I mean, I thought round one was the closest round, like probably the hardest round to score. Like how you scored round one probably determines how you scored this fight. I think round
For
two and
sure.
three had a very clear winner.
Yeah, I think they were both pretty obvious in the way they took place. I thought round one was Kosie's round. I thought he did enough control whilst also not taking much damage. So maybe from a damage standpoint, I mean, he might have been slightly out damaged by Blood Diamond throughout the entirety of the round. I call him Blood Diamond. Why am I doing that? But Mike Diamond. But overall, like his amount of control in that round, I thought was more impactful.
Yeah, well, and those see, I feel like I'm gonna make a little bit of a lawyer ball argument here. Like those takedowns are big slam kind of suplex kind of
True.
takedowns, where I mean that does do more damage than like a trip or a single leg or you know what I mean. So
That is true, and for people at home that don't understand, it's just plywood that's covered with a 1/4 inch foam padding that's then canvassed over. Like that's
yeah,
literally what the mat they stand on is. Like it's not gonna feel good if you get slammed on it.
yeah, it's not springy like WWE. Now, yeah, so we both saw round one the same way, and which leads me to assume that we'll probably see rounds two and three the same way since they were more obvious. I think two went to Diamond. I thought that was his best round of the fight. He hurt
The
Kosi. That left hook followed up by the high kick was a pretty
the
badass combination.
that was it's a cool combination he throws that he throws the left hook with the high kick coming behind it too. So it's like if he whiffs the kick and if you slide it and bring your head back, you're going to eat the kick instead of the punch, which is oftentimes much worse. I
Yeah,
love that combination. I also thought the double spinning back fist, well, not double spinning back fist, but the double back fist was hilarious.
yeah, like they each back fisted each other at like the exact
And they
same
both
time.
got hurt from it too.
They did. I think Kosi got a little bit more hurt,
Oh, he
but you're
got
right.
hurt.
Yeah, he sat down in an invisible chair. Now, yeah, and then Koski just, I mean, he got. I actually, the weird thing is, I thought Kosi, largely due to what we just described, got more damage off in round two than he did in round one, but he also ate a lot more damage.
So I totally agree with that. I think he definitely did more damage around two, but once again lost the trade of damage, if that makes sense.
For sure. And then round three, Koski went back to his bread and butter, takedowns, control, but I thought he got a lot more damage off than he did in round one. Started dropping some ground and pound elbows, started fishing for the neck with some sub attempts, took his back. I said I thought rounds two and three were pretty easy to score, and we saw round one the same way. Koski gets the decision victory. All three judges saw it just like we did. Not too much controversy here, and it's just tough for Mike Blood Diamond because he's 34 years old, and it's only
He's
the
3-2.
It is, yeah, and I think he's 0-2 in the
0-2 in the
UFC.
UFC.
Yeah. So it's like, as it's hard to, you don't want to be daubered down on a guy, but it's like, I think he's going to run out of time. Actually, Chael was just talking about this in a video recently, how if you think that you can just go guy by guy by guy, you're going to run out of time in your career. Like you need, a last minute replacement. You need some kind of gimmick. Like you need something to jump the line. Because if you try to just go about it the lunch pail blue collar way and fight one guy up the rankings at a time, I mean, you're going to run out of time on your career, especially when you're starting at 34 years old with two losses in a row. I mean, it's hard to really be optimistic about. I mean, he trains at City Kickboxing. He knows the right people, getting the right kind of training. But also, like, hey, if you're already good at kickboxing, why don't you go to like a wrestling heavy gym or I don't know, like
Yeah, like you don't train at City Kickboxing if you're a kickboxer, or rather, like don't try to come over to mixed martial art. I mean, I guess Izzy did it and like learned his wrestling there and
But
such, but like
Izzy was young though. You know what I'm saying?
very true. And also, I think Blood Diamond, man, like I'd never thought about it like this, but I believe it was DC that said it. When you are a kickboxer like that, you spend so much of your camp fighting against a wrestler, you start to get used to being in the clinch positions. And you start to feel comfortable, like the fight should be there. Well, it shouldn't.
Yeah,
It simply
I thought
shouldn't.
that
Like
was.
it
I
was a
thought that was
mistake.
a
It was a
great piece
huge
of
tactical
commentary.
mistake.
Yeah, I
Oh
really
yeah.
enjoyed when DC brought that to the table. I never really thought about it. You're right. You drill these positions for 3 months straight, and you get stuck in those positions. You know what I mean? As
Yeah,
opposed
you start to
as a,
feel at home, which makes all the sense on earth.
yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, we both got that one. That first, we started off the night right. We both, I think, had a parlay with that on it, and started off on the right foot, on the right leg, if you will. But But yeah, keeping it pushing, man. We got Nikolai Negumereanu, or for whatever reason, I don't know if there's like a Chinese naming structure in Romania. They kept
Yeah,
calling
what's
him
up with that? They kept calling him
Negumereanu
Nicola
Nikolai.
Nikolai. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right.
I think that Bruce Buffer got it wrong, and then Joe was kind of looking out for his boy and didn't want to make Bruce seem dumb, and he just went with it too. Or am I overthinking that? Like, because that's the only thing I
No,
could think of.
well, like so we know a Romanian. We don't know her personally, but like the Olympian Nadia Comaneci, she lives in Oklahoma. She goes by Nadia. It's her first name. It's not her last name. They clearly
Yeah,
have a similar naming structure to Russia. It's just like a Slavic-based language. So why on earth would the names be backwards? Like Bruce Buffer definitely fucked himself on that one.
and I think Joe was just kind of rolling with it, or maybe second guessed himself, or I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was a little interesting. Also, man, so you bet Negumereanu, I bet Potieria. Now maybe in hindsight a little bit dumb for me to bet Potieria. He was making his debut. I think what I was looking at on paper was Negumereanu's like strength of schedule hasn't been that great. I mean, he got 3 wins in a row, but it was against guys that I don't have the most respect for. So I kind of just didn't know like what to do with that information. And Potieria was, I think he was on a 15 fight win streak and just had a highlight knockout like in his contender series fight. So I thought, young lion. I underestimated Negumereanu. I thought he was just kind of a run-of-the-mill guy. This fight taking place at light heavyweight. Now, Vegas had the money line very close, minus 125 for Negumereanu, plus 105 for Potieria. Now, I
Yeah,
mean,
but it opened with Negumereanu plus 170, so it moved almost.
wow.
Yeah, it moved 95 points in a specific direction. And the reason I like Negumereanu so much in this fight was his chin is crazy. It's crazy. Well,
It's very
what I'd seen
crazy.
of Ihor was he's going to rush in and try and just put bombs on you. Well, what happens when those bombs land but don't, blow up the city, for lack of a better term? Being a guy from Kiev, that's a fucked up joke. But yeah, man, and then you always see it too. The guy that throws bombs and is wild and is a crazy man, he will gas. He will gas out if he can't get his finish.
Yeah, man, and the chin for Negumereanu, also thought of as a wrestler, he was kind of
His
outstriking the
hands are kind of
striker.
nice. His
The
hands are kind of
power.
nice.
He kind of, and he's a thick dude. Like he kind of fights like a heavyweight. That's gonna sound like a backhanded compliment, but like the power, I mean, the ability to kind of put his weight on you. If he gets on top, it's tough. Yeah, Negumereanu, man, I think he could be like a real factor. Like this is the fight where he got like respect put on his name. I think Potieria beats any of the previous guys that Negumereanu beat. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh yeah,
Kennedy and
like I think
Sekichui and guys like that.
yeah, I think that would be a fun. I think that's a fun matchup still right now for Potieria. God, his last name's hard.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot going on there. But also, I saw. Did you see Steve will do it? Let Tekashi 6ix9ine pick his bet for this week, and he picked Negumereanu and put 15 grand on him just because Tekashi 6ix9ine was like, he was like, yeah, it kind of sounds like Negumereanu, so we're gonna ride with him. And he literally just like pulled a name out of a hat, picked a name off the screen. But hey, their bet cashed. His
Wow.
bet cashed. Or that leg of it hit. I mean, it was. I mean, we could dive in X's and O's. Negumereanu won the first round. I mean, he got the takedowns control, more of a grappling heavy approach. But that's what was interesting to me. Even though he won, like he had a clear path to victory as he demonstrated in round 1. And round 2, he came out just swinging and banging.
Yeah, and I don't know if I loved that or if I hated that, right? Because like part of me is like that's so cool that he's just going to go for it, right? But at the same time, like why? You don't have to. Why would you?
Yeah, and what Potieria was kind of talking a little bit of shit. So maybe it was like the ego got involved. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I can really think of. And yeah, I mean Negumereanu, and then the second round came out and outstruck the striker. So that was really impressive. Like I said, his ability to absorb damage And like we talk about all the time, the lack of depth in the light heavyweight division kind of makes for fast rising, fast ascends. I could see Negumereanu at the very least being a tough night out for a lot of these guys.
I mean, I could see him. Like, I mean, I think Dustin Jacoby beats him, but I do think that's a fun fight. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's close to that 15 range, but he's just a fun fight.
Bro, I don't know, man. Negumereanu could, because I think if he fought smart, he could easily out wrestle Jacoby. And then Jacoby's not going to knock him out? I don't think, like with that.
So you're right, but I always wonder: is he actually going to fight smart? You know what I mean?
Good point, because Jacoby does fight very smart always.
Right.
So yeah, good point. Yeah, man. I mean, besides being like super high on Negumereanu and just like really respecting his chin and his skill set and his power, I mean, I don't know how much more I got on this one. It was pretty one-sided. He gets the knockout in the second round, 3 minutes and 33 seconds into the second round.
Brutal knees.
Knocked Peteria's mouthpiece out. That was a dope visual.
Dude, I was thinking about that when he was taking those knees and stuff, and I was just thinking, like, I bet the inside of his face or his mouth is so cut from his, like, the hooks and stuff, and his teeth just, like, grinding his fucking, yeah, I was like, that's brutal.
Yeah, no fucking OJ or salty snacks for Peteria for a while, I'm sure. But, I guess we keep it pushing this next fight. We got kind of women's bantamweights. We have a women's flyweight and a women's featherweight fighting each other at bantamweight. And this is one where we kind of disagreed on. I think you guys picked Kim. I picked Edwards. I didn't even really factor in the weight class, but I did just know that Edwards was the bigger girl. Now, Edwards did miss weight, which made her very much so the bigger girl in there.
Yeah.
But it was on short notice. You know, I guess if you want to give her a pass, you can. You know, Edwards is big, athletic, strong, but also, like, she doesn't fight with the most, like, intensity. It's kind of like a point fighting kind of style.
Bro, I cannot stand watching her fight. Like, she is literally point fighting her ass off in the cage.
And like, I don't know if that's just her style, or Rogan was saying maybe she was scared to gas. I mean, it was short notice fight. She probably had a tough weight cut.
It's a trash visual. It's a trash visual, though. Like the eye test, like the strike numbers. I just quit looking at them. I didn't even give a shit because I was like, well, if we're gonna count her little front teep where 2 of her toes land on her stomach as a strike, then I don't know what we're counting. So,
because you're right, it was like the whole fight was kind of a story of quality versus quantity, right? I mean, because when Kim would land, it would
land hard.
Edwards' head back. You know, she would wipe her nose. It would be big problems for Edwards, but it would happen like once around. You know what I'm saying? And Edwards,
true.
You're right. She was picking and prodding, and shout out Miji, pity pat bullshitting around. But that being said, you know, I did think Edwards, you know, the forward pressure, the outside control, and the volume. You know, I think she was. And actually, in the first round, some of those leg and body kicks had a little bit of something on them, but that steam quickly, you know, came off as the rounds progressed. This fight was a split decision, so I guess we can go round by round. I feel pretty confident in my scorecards. I don't really have the word close or anything like that in my notes at all. I guess we don't got to go too much through it. I gave Edwards 1 and 3, gave Kim 2.
It's exactly how I have it. And honestly, like, if I had known that Jocelyn Edwards was going to strike that whole way the whole fight, I might not even given her 1. Like I said, man, did she do any damage with those strikes? I mean, eventually she did, and like had her hurt by round 3 and had her cut open and such. But man, like, if you're going to halfway throw strikes, I just can't. It's so hard for me to score rounds for you.
The kicks in the second and third round were pitter-pat bullshit, but fucking when Edwards would land with the hands weren't. The hands were
good. But the leg distance shit, bro, like, I literally don't want to watch her fighting again. I don't care.
Yeah, I think we said that the last time we watched her fight, too, the last time we broke down the Edwards fight. Like, we're definitely not big fans of Edwards.
Just that style is egregious to watch.
It was a tough matchup for Kim. Like I said, the size, the missed weight, the short notice. I thought Kim she looked good. She just didn't do enough. Like when she would go, like DC was saying it the whole fight, like, man, if she would just do that 4 or 5 more times around, she would win this fight, like, pretty easily. No, it's easier said than done. She's fighting the taller, rangier fighter, the bigger, stronger fighter. like I said, when Jocelyn Edwards would let the hands go, it was hurting Kim. So whenever she would get in that boxing range, and whenever Kim would land one, she'd usually take one in return. I think Kim was kind of taking inventory, saying like she can take more of mine than I can take of hers, just from like a mathematic kind of standpoint. So like when they were boxing range and trading, even when Kim would kind of get the better of an exchange, I think she just was kind of doubting how like sustainable that model was, which she might not be wrong. You know what I mean? I think if she was, now it would have been a lot more fun to watch, but I think Kim potentially catches one that gets put down. You know, I mean, if they're just trading for all 3 rounds. I said, yeah, kind of a snoozy fight. Now, one judge gave it 30-27 Edwards. I definitely
that
don't
guy
like
Seth
that.
Fuller couldn't score fights the whole night long.
Also, I don't really see a 29-28 for Kim. Like I said, I gave Kim 2, and then in round 3, Edwards got the takedown, and in round
3,
1,
I
he
think
said,
3 is the only obvious round. It's just like, man, it's so hard for me. Like, this my whole point with this whole fight is like, how much damage was Edwards actually doing?
you know what? I think you would feel like if somebody went through and chopped up all the highlights of Edwards landing with the punches, you'd be like, oh, she was getting off. But
Oh,
it
I
was
mean,
just
I gave her round 1, but I'm just saying, like, that style is so unappealing to score a fight for you, like with that pitter patter bullshit.
when also she's going to be on the prelims for perpetuity, like prelim
Yeah.
fighter
Also, let me
for
ask you
sure.
this: how many body punches you think she threw?
I don't remember a ton being thrown. I think most of the body work was done with kicks, right? Like,
Right. Well, guess what? She threw 97 body shots. Not with the hands. I'm saying in total. But
oh,
I'm
okay.
saying 75 kicks to the body, and you're not like, what is that, man?
Yeah, and we later on the card we get some great body work that's like
Yeah,
the
right. Like,
exact
be
opposite of
impactful.
it.
Like, don't just throw shit to throw it. That's so annoying.
No, I feel you, man. And on that note, Edwards gets the split decision victory. She cashed as a -130. I said I hit that leg of my parlay. Yeah, Kim, like I said, she's talented. She gets some tough fights. She has a lot of L's. That's mainly why I've picked against her. And yeah,
Tough
I
fights,
keep it
though.
pushing. Yeah, tough fights.
Yeah. This next fight is so much more fun. So much more fun.
Like the most fun. Like
Yeah, like I loved this fight. I also love Michael Morales now. His style is awesome.
his style is
And
so
also,
cool.
Adam Fuggett said fuck it and went for it, which I respect the hell out of.
But he's a badass, man. Fucking coming in at +450 underdog, late replacement against a young lion, undefeated, unfazed. Like, in some guys, every time you
Minus
fight this
650 for Morales. It's crazy. Like,
yeah.
that's a huge favorite.
And I think it's only a second fight in the UFC. So to be that, like, highly viewed this early in his career, but you see why.
Yeah.
I mean, the athleticism's next level. Like, when certain guys, I mean, it's going to sound kind of like an obvious take, shooting fish in a barrel take over here, but it's hard to not think of a young style bender. Like, it's hard not to. Like, when you
He
watch
looks
him fight,
so much like him, the way he moves, man. He's so fluid and rangy.
the way he moves, the way he swags, like it's such an entertaining style, which we've been pretty tough on Stylebender for, but early in Stylebender's career, he was like the most exciting guy to watch.
Yeah, he would actually go for it, which Michael Morales was going for it. And to Adam, they kept saying Fugit last night, and I was like, well, that's not how you would say that because it's like it's 2 T's, so it has to, and he says fuck it. Like, that's literally like Bruce Buffer said it right, and then John Anik was like, well, I'm going to not say it right because I think it sounds like something else.
Yeah, he's probably looking out for the FCC.
FCC. Yeah. But I mean, to Fuggett's credit, he was doing a really nice job of managing the distance, and then he got that saucy inside trip where, had the over-under, hooked the leg, slacked off to the side, and pulled down the underhook or overhook and got nice takedown. Like, DC even was like, that was a saucy takedown.
No, it was like everything about this fight was so easy on the eyes, especially after that Edwards Kim fight. Like, I mean, the strikes were saucy, the takedowns were saucy. Like, even Fugit striking, it wasn't necessarily saucy, but it was just like tough guy striking, like take a shot and land a bomb, and like he did connect on the feet. He was definitely on the worst end of the exchanges, but he would land in the exchanges and like land pretty hard. I gave round one to Morales. I thought it was like the closest round of the fight and kind of hard to score. I mean, like I said, the takedown, the ground and pound, and Fuga did have some success on the feet as well. But Morales just did more and was more impactful, and that shit looks good on the eye, man. The eye test
Nah.
catches in.
So I wrote essentially the same thing, man. I wrote that I wanted to give the round to Fugit, but it would be so hard to deny Morales' damage because he landed so much more damage, I thought. And so I
What
did score 10-9 Morales. 2 judges scored it for Fugit.
really? I mean, I don't
Fugit.
hate that. I don't hate it, to be honest, but we both saw it, I think, the same way. Yeah, like Morales, the damage he was getting off, um, it jumped off the screen, right? Like when he landed, it looked just different. Like it looked just
I also cannot stand a lot of the refs they use in Texas, man.
oh
Like
my
this was
God,
Herb
the
Dean.
stand up.
This was Herb Dean. Oh, Jacob Montalvo should not ever ref a UFC fight again.
Go,
We'll get to it
go,
soon,
go
but
ref Muay Thai or boxing or you know what I
bro,
mean?
that was
Like,
crazy. That guy was in literally half guard, like out to almost side control, and he was like, "Stand up." I was like, "What?"
and he was getting damage off. Yeah, no, we'll get to that for sure. We'll get to that. But yeah, and also we haven't mentioned Michael Morales is only 23 years old. He's 13 now
Yeah,
at 23. Fucking
yeah, right.
stud. And then round two, I thought Morales, he really used the jab a lot better, used his reach a lot better, fought a little bit smarter, I guess you could say, but while still being exciting. Now, that's what I love to see because he didn't like should have go Izzy snooze switch and hit the snooze button. He fought smarter while still being excited and still getting damage off.
And both these, I mean, he got hit a few times here and there, and both guys can take a shot pretty well.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. I think both guys landed shots that would put lesser men down in this fight. You know what I mean? Like each guy was getting damage off. Morales though, just everything just look like I said, it's eye test. It's just like how when Lamar Jackson throws a ball, it's just like a little flick and it just fucking goes
Yeah,
forever.
or
It's
Aaron
just something
Rodgers,
that,
same thing.
yeah, like it just looks fucking dope. Like the ball leaving their hands looks good, or like a guy that has a saucy stroke in basketball. Like it's still worth 2 points, but goddamn, does it look good when he's doing it? You know,
Right.
yeah, like you know, Allen Iverson. It's like certain guys have swag, like when they perform, and I mean, Morales might be the easiest on the eyes in the whole goddamn UFC. Like seriously, like that.
He's
No,
just
he
so
has
slick, man. Just
so
slick.
slick,
I mean,
so
he
slick.
definitely
But
takes round 2, and then I mean, we can keep pushing into round 3 because it's not much of a round 3.
no, only round three only lasts 1 minute and 9 seconds. I definitely thought we were going to see a decision here, just because of how tough Fugit was, how competitive the fight was. So if you bet the under 2.5 on this, you made it by a nut hair because
Yeah.
this fight ends at 109 in the third round. Also, kind of a trend. Do you think it was an early stoppage? I didn't hate this one, especially we'll get to a fight later on the
Mm.
breakdown that was definitely earlier than this one. But I thought
No,
there
I
was
didn't think
definitely a
this was
quick
early at
trend.
all because, well, I mean, he hit him with the 1-2, dropped him, and then he gets back up, and he hits him with that right hook that, I mean, I think he fell face first on the ground.
Yeah, he
There's
did
no way
get
this could
right
be
back
early.
up
There's
though.
literally no way.
I don't know. Maybe
He
I'm just.
got dropped twice, and he got dropped twice in 9 seconds with 8 clean punches and didn't answer one of them. There's no way you can call it early.
I'm a card-carrying member of the CTE Society over here, but
Bro,
I.
that one was that was like textbook stoppage. Like, stop this fight. This guy is getting cleaned. And Morales hit so hard, and he hit him so many times before that.
You're right. I mean, it wasn't a bad stoppage. I remember watching it live and being like,
It was
oh, I mean,
perfect. It was perfect. You even
all right,
saying bad stoppage is crazy.
I'll go with you on this one. I don't need to.
Go rewatch it.
I need to rewatch it probably. You know,
He
CTE
falls on his
Society.
face.
Shout out, but I mean, he falls on his face. Well, I don't want to give any spoilers. Later on in the fight, somebody falls down and then they pop right back up.
Oh yeah.
I'm not dying on the hill. I'm not
Well,
dying on the hill. I just think it was, especially.
so funny enough, the one you're referencing, I know what it is. I don't think that was an early stoppage either.
Oh, okay. So Harris is just going soft on us, everybody. He just got soft on us.
Maybe, but if your legs go out from under you and you fall on your face, that is very, very not natural.
Hey, is this boxing? How about some follow him to the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like
At least this guy did get hit on the ground, right? And then tried to get back up and then got knocked down again, right?
no,
So then I was like, okay. The one we'll get to that in the main card. That was fucking unfortunate, even though I had the under, so I loved it.
yeah, no, for sure, man. And yeah, well, that wraps up the early prelims. We'll be right back in a few moments for the regular prelims. We got 4, 4, and 5. That's how it's broken down on this card. And yeah, Michael Morales. Actually, real quick before we leave, what's next for Morales? Right? He's a fucking stud. Like, he's young.
I don't know.
So
You probably, yeah, that's what I was going to say. You probably want to give him another test. Like Simmelsberger or Morono, I still think is too much for him at this point. Maybe not because his skill set's so good.
I think those are both matchups that are fine.
I think the matchup there is so much fun. I wouldn't hate it. It might be a big jump for him.
The loser of that fight, we'll get to it, but the loser of that fight,
yeah. That's what I would prefer. Yeah, and I also think too, like you said with Chael and his, like you can't just go one by one. That would be a nice jump up and a good name because both those guys, Simmelsberger and Morono, have a good name in the UFC.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the perfect level jump. Like it's not to rankings, but you get a little more notoriety. You probably get off the prelims. You know, and it's going to be a fan-friendly kind of fight. I love that. I don't have a better idea at all. Those are the perfect matchups. Now, but he goes out and knocks out one of those guys, though. Then we're talking about rocket ship to the moon.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, all right, cool. I wanted to get your opinion on that. Like I said, I'm a Morales fan. He is probably one of the funnest guys to watch, like stylistically. Like I said, remind you of a young style bender. I don't know what else you could say. It's the young style bender. Was
literally. I couldn't name a better comparison because his style is just so similar.
And he's also huge too. Like he's
massive.
He's like the Jalen Turner of welterweight. Now, granted, he's only like I think 6 foot or 6'1". It's not a height thing like Jalen Turner.
It's like his shoulders are wide, his chest is wide. Like he's just like looks thick and muscled.
The physique on that guy.
And at 23, it's like he's only gonna get like harder.
Oh yeah, well I'm saying like at 28 he's a middleweight. I think and I think he does just fine at middleweight, honestly.
I honestly think he might do better at middleweight because welterweight's so stacked up with hard wrestling matchups that with his striking, he'd go to 85 and have a lot better time of it.
He has the speed advantage at 70. Imagine the speed advantage at 85. I feel you, bro. I feel you, man. But yeah, Morales, a ton of fun, shoveling heaps of coal. Love that guy. Like, new fan favorite. If you're asking this fan, But yeah, man, we'll be right back for the prelims and kick them off with Jakar Close and Rafa Garcia. We'll be right back.